Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tag segment. So let's bring in Landon Swan. He's a co-founder at Likefolio. Happy Friday, Landon. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, happy Friday. Good to see you guys.
All right, so we're talking Tesla today. We haven't heard from you guys for a couple months on this one. And, you know, it seems like every time maybe they run into problems or you think maybe the car sales are slowing down, you see more price cuts, not only here in the U.S., but globally for this company. They got the best margins in the industry. Do you guys still have positive data on this one?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the data, it's still positive. And, you know, it got a little iffy when right before earnings there, they got up to 300. Now they dipped down to, 210 and bounced up to 235. But when you look at the data overall, yeah, this is the leader. I mean, I think a lot of people would say that EV is sort of the future of the automotive industry, and certainly that Tesla is the leader at this point. Right now, on their last report, we know that even though they're high, their operating margins have dipped to, I think, their lowest level in quite some time, under 10% now. They've got costs going up a little bit, mostly with related to improving production, but they also reduced the prices quite a bit. So I think they're aggressively trying to increase market share and get their economies of scale going and be more efficient. So that they're thinking long term, they're not thinking short term, and I love that. And when you look at the data in particular, them versus their competitors, just looking at the web data, how many people are visiting their websites, right? I think that's an important metric because that's where you gain info. That's kind of where you're telling the company, hey, I'm interested in looking at your product. They're plus 43% on a year-over-year basis. Very strong numbers, definitely leading the crowd there. Now, last quarter, that number was plus 18% year-over-year. So they're accelerating. A lot more people are becoming more interested in the Tesla products. So you can see here they're crushing it when it comes to the competition. BMW, even Rivian, GM, and Ford are falling far behind. They're plus 43%. Now we do see a little bit of a happiness dip overall with the company when it comes to social mentions. However, a lot of that has to do with Elon Musk. There's more people talking negatively about him than actually the cars. So I think we can kind of, generally speaking, brush that off. If people want a nice car, they're going to still buy it. When you look at the model by model, it's pretty interesting to see how the different models are doing. So the Cybertruck is actually leading the way on a year-over-year change. So that's not to say that they're the most popular vehicle that Tesla produces by any stretch. It's saying they're gaining the most on a year-over-year basis. And of course, it was a low bar, right? They're gaining over a smaller number. The Model X doing well, and the Y still doing very strongly. But a lot of people are moving from the S and the 3 to either the Y or the X. The Y actually has the highest happiness of all of them. The Cybertruck has the lowest. It's kind of polarizing at about 55%. Some people love it. Some people think it's disgusting and ugly. I can't wait to hear what Kevin's got to say on that
Here
one.
It comes.
Yep. So I know it's coming, but yeah, that's the one that people are more excited than they were last year, but not the most excited about. The Y, I think, is still the big one. It was the X, now it's the Y. But overall, I think that the company is building for the long term. And, you know, another thing you can look at besides, you know, trying to grow their market share with lower prices, and besides, you know, doing some of the factory improvements that are causing higher costs now, but will be lower later. They're also building this amazing infrastructure with their supercharger network, and they're getting everyone else to come aboard, right? Rivian, GM, Ford, Volvo, Mercedes. I mean, they're all going to be able to plug into that network, and that's only going to empower Tesla in the future. That's going to pay off sometime down the road, and it's just going to make them more and more dominant. So this is very, very forward thinking. They're not thinking about next quarter. They're thinking about 5 years from now. And I think that with this dip, this is actually a really good entry price for this company long term. Now, Kevin, give me your Cybertruck thoughts.
So follow me here, and I may be dating myself, Landon. If you took the movie RoboCop and you took the lead actor in RoboCop and made him into a car, that's what this would look. That's what the Cybertruck looks like. It looks like they made RoboCop into an actual vehicle. Now, all jokes aside, the data says that the 3 best-selling automobiles in the country last year were pickup trucks. So when this this Cybertruck finally starts being sold, I think it's going to be like wildfire. They're going to buy these things, right? No matter what I feel about them, I don't think it's a very good-looking car, but I think they're going to be enormously popular. But Landon, that's really just part of what they're doing, right? The Cybertruck is big, but energy storage is growing like a weed for them. Full service driving, it's 15 grand or a subscription, which will probably make them more money. So what I always say about Tesla, for the bearish, that hurts the bearish case, the pipeline. The things they have in the pipeline should scare every bear out there. And if they get this Cybertruck right, it's just another. Ford sold 650,000 F-150s last year. Just that pickup truck. If they get this Cybertruck right, it's a whole nother level for this company, Landon.
I agree. And, I would be more bullish on Tesla if their truck looked like the F-150
Yes.
Lightning. I think they'd get a lot more sales. It's pretty wild looking. I mean, when you look at a normal SUV versus the X or the Y and a normal sedan versus the Model 3, it's like, okay, Tesla looks a little cooler, a little sleeker. I get it. But the truck is like on a whole different
agree.
level.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Andy like the truck? He likes the look.
I think he's not going to buy one.
There you go.
He's not going to buy one. I've got a deposit on it, throw $100 at it just for kicks. And I got a house. I'll have one on the Lightning though, so we'll see. But you know what? I think you're right. This is a long-term company, and everybody who used to hate on it, all the big short guys on Tesla, it was always, it's about to crash. Like, it's about to run out of cash. It can't keep up. It can't make these cars. There's nobody that likes them. There's always like a now problem. And I'm talking about 2-3 years ago. They're past that. And so I think that there's a mistake with investors to think of Tesla as what's going to happen this quarter, what's going to happen next quarter. They are clearly building a very long-term company. The pipeline, as you say, is extremely long horizon, and I love the direction that they're going in. I really do think that one day we're going to look back at $200 or $300 as a incredibly low stock price for this company. That might be 5 or 10 years from now, but I am extremely bullish on this company long-term, and I love this $65 dip from highs.
What kind of score do you guys have right now? They don't have earnings for about a month and a half, 2 months, Landon. And, long term you're bullish, but what about near term? Because, margins are starting to shrink a little bit. What if the consumer takes a hit also?
Sure, absolutely. Now they are getting to that point where they're becoming extremely affordable. I mean, I remember the days of the S being $120,000 and people were talking about buying it. So now they're very cheap cars, but the short-term score, hypothetically, they're reporting tomorrow, would be plus 30. So not extremely bullish, but bullish enough. But I think the long-term outlook for this company is much stronger. That's the short-term score. I think the long-term score is up in the 60s or 70s. So very bullish long-term on Tesla. All
right, great stuff. Great data as always, Landon. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy it.
All right, thanks to Landon Swan there. Kevin, I think that's that was a good commentary from Landon. It's too polarizing.
Yes.
Cybertrucks, if they just made something that looked somewhat similar to the F-150, oh boy. I mean, you could just explode.
Yeah. I think I want